Hi, good evening everyone. I hope you are doing fine with your preparation. Uh, Today is the day 24 for the Gear Up Mains answer writing. In this week, we are doing the international relation questions that was asked in the previous UPSC paper. And today we will discuss the question related to India and Japan that was asked by the UPSC in 2019. So let's see the question. Those who are new here, we are taking this session from Monday to Friday at 6 p.m. by doing the analysis of the previous year question of the UPSC. In this session, we are providing you a question in the morning itself, and you people can write the answer and submit to the portal. You will get a free evaluation as well. Okay, so let's see the question now. The question is, the time has come for India and Japan to build a strong contemporary relationship, one involving global and strategic partnership that will have a great significance for Asia and the world as a whole. Comment. This was a 10-marker question. This was a 10-marker question in the UPSC 2019. Let's read the question again for the better understanding. The time has come for India and Japan to build a strong contemporary relationship, one involving global and strategic partnership that will have a great significance for Asia and the world as a whole. Comment. We need to give our view related to India and Japan relationship, a contemporary relationship which involves the global and strategic partnership, and second, the significance of India and Japan relationship with respect to the world as a whole. We need to give our views, we need to give right about the facts, data related to the India and Japan. So if we see the keywords here, you can see we are focusing on India and Japan to build a strong contemporary relationship and strategic partnership. This is the first part we need to be addressed, and here in the second part we need to write about the significance, how the strategic significance will have a impact on Asia and overall world. So if we see the India and Japan relation, the India is having a cultural relation with the Japan, also having the political relation and the strategical relation. In the cultural relation, it's starting from the Buddhism, when the Buddhism was started in the Japan from India in the 7th century. So we can start the introduction this way, because this is completely focused on the relationship between India and Japan. So we will make the question in the 3 parts. One part is the introduction, where we will write about the relation between India and Japan. In the second part, the body part, we will divide the body part in the 2. One is about the significance, and second is about the contemporary relationship. Contemporary relationship. And in the third part, we will conclude the answer. Conclusion is important for the answer. If you are not concluding the answer, you will get the lesser marks, 1 mark less than the others. Okay. So in the introduction, we can define here, the India and Japan is having a cultural relation, economic relation, political relation, as well as the strategically relation. And from the 7th century, when the Buddhism was starting from India to Japan, it was a start of the cultural relation between India and Japan. And according to the Prime Minister of Shinzo Abe, he said this is a phase of the blossom for the India and Japan relation, cherry blossom. He gave a specific term. This phase is a cherry blossom phase for India and Japan. So you can write your introduction in this way. Okay, clear to everyone? In the introduction, we will write the relation between the India and Japan. The cultural relation was started in the 7th century, and the Shinzo Abe, he was not in the world now. He expired in the last year, but during in 2020, he said it's a cherry blossom phase for India and Japan relation. Now, in the body part, we will divide the question in the two part. One part is about the strategic relation of India and Japan. Second is about the significance. Second is about the significance. If you are understanding the question well, where we can do the things like we can answer the question with the minimum words, and understanding the question will clear you about what is exactly the demand of the question. If you're just writing about the India-Japan relation in this question, it's not a clear demand here. The question wants you to divide the answer in the two part based on the strategic significance of the relation as well as the significance in the later part of the question. The first we will focus on the India and Japan contemporary, global and strategic partnership. What is the contemporary, global and strategic partnership for India and Japan? This is the first part of the question which demanding. So we divide this part in the under three headings. One is the economic, strategic and the political. Economic, strategic and the political. So India and Japan contemporary, global, strategic partnership we divide under three subheads: the economic, strategic and the political. In the economic, we will write the investment of the Japan in India in the several projects, or if there is any investment of the India in the Japan, we can also write that. So the first investment, the Delhi Metro, Delhi-Mumbai economic corridors and the bullet train. These are some of the infrastructure related investment of Japan in the India. So we will make the subheadings economics and write about the infrastructure investment of the Japan in India, and we can write about the examples: the Delhi Metro, bullet train, Delhi-Mumbai economic corridor. Then the political relation between the India and Japan, the United Nations Security Council reforms. The G4 country, India, Brazil, Japan and Germany, want a permanent seat in the UNSC Council and also want to reform the UNSC. So they are on a common page related to the United Nations Security Council reform. Then the third point we can write about the civil nuclear deal, the India and Japan deal of the civil nuclear deal, where the India is not a member of NPT. India not signed the NPT, Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. So it's the Indian responsibility now to deal with the nuclear power very effectively. So this is the civil nuclear deal. And some of the defense agreements between the India and Japan, the exercise between the India and Japan are the part of the political relation between the India and Japan. Now to focus on the strategic part, the Indo-Pacific region. The Indo-Pacific region is a strategically located region for the country where the India and Japan relation can maintain the peace. Some of the recent reports related to the China aggression in that region, making the instability in that region, can be maintained by the India and Japan relation, which contribute the peace in that region. Regional cooperation, we can write about the supply chain influence, supply chain initiative by the Japan, reducing the dependency on the China related to the different kind of the imports by the India as well as the Japan. So we can write about the Indo-Pacific region peace and the regional cooperation by establishing a strong supply chain, and the maritime initiative, the concerned area the Malabar exercise between the India, Japan, Australia and the US, also known as the Quad, the Malabar exercise between the Quad country, which is possibly the maritime security, which make it possible for the maritime security for the Indo-Pacific region. Well, as a strategic ally, we can write about the Indo-Pacific, the regional cooperation and the maritime security. So this was the first part where we addressed the specific demand, the India and Japan, contemporary, global and the strategic partnership. Now come to the second part where we need to be right about the significance of this partnership. Here we note down the partnership of the global and strategic level, and now we need to write the significance of this partnership. In the significance part, we also divide the answer in the three parts. One is the economic significance, political significance and the strategic significance. If you are writing your answer in the form of subheadings and providing the example side by side, your presentation will improve. If the presentation of answer is good, then you will get the marks extra than the others. As this was a 10-marker question, you can present this part in the form of a smart art. In the form of a table, you can also present it. It's completely dependent on you how you are presenting your answer. So in the first economic part, for the significance of the partnership of the Asia and the world, we will write about the first economic significance. The India and the Japan East form, the India Act East policy, and these are focusing on the connectivity. India and Japan का एक form है Act East form, where they are specifically focused on the connectivity. They are focusing on the disaster management. So both are on the same page, where they are having a significance for the world. This keyword, the significance for the world. So we need to be right about here the policy of the India and Japan, which is focusing on the development in the world and have a clear significance for the Asia region and the significance for the world as well. Then we will go to the Asia-Africa corridor. India is a great investor, is the largest investor in the African region. Similarly, Japan is also an investor in the African region, where these countries are playing a good role for the development of the infrastructure, the development of the health infrastructure related activities and development of supply chain activities in the African region. The one of the example of they are developing the health infrastructure in the Kenya. So both the country having their interest in the development of the African region. So they are on the same page in this policy also. Then the investment, the Japan and the India are investing the huge amount of money in the Asian region also, specifically related to technology. They are sharing the technology and sharing their expertise also in the different projects in these countries. So if we are going through the economic perspective, both the country are having the same policy which are focusing on developing the other country in the same region and also having a same agenda related to the development for the poor African least developed country. Then if we are coming to the political part of the significance for the world, if we see the confluence of these policy, the India Act East policy and the Japan Free and Open Indo-Pacific strategy. The policy of India, which are the Act East policy, and the policy of the Japan, which are related to the Japan Free and Open Pacific strategic policy. If we see here, Japan Free and Open Indo-Pacific strategic policy. So both are focusing on some development of the Asian region, free and open passage for the ship in that region and maintaining the peace in the region. Then strengthen the rule of law. If you know the condition of the South China Sea and the China influence in that region, which preventing the rule of law there, and the contribution of Japan and India in that region, which strengthen the rule of law in specifically the South China region. So in specifically South China region, these countries strengthening the rule of law. So how it's maintaining in the Asia also. So the question significance here, asking in the one in the Asia and the second in the world level. So we are addressing both the issue here. Then in the case of the environment perspective, in the environment perspective, both the country are investing in the joint credit mechanism. Joint credit mechanism is a mechanism for the investment in the environment, where for the different cause of the environment, this money can be used. And the coalition of the disaster management. Coalition for the Disaster Resilience Infrastructure, also known as the CDRI. So the joint credit mechanism JCM plus CDRI. Both the country are focusing on these mechanisms also and investing the money in these area and protecting the environment. So these are the political significance of the Japan and India related to the Asia and the world. Now the strategic. To counter the China, in the strategic significance, to counter the China, India, Japan, Australia and US form a group. This group is known as the Quad. Quad specifically to counter the China influence in the to increase the maritime security, for the peace in the specific in the Indo-Pacific region. So these countries come together and form the Quad. And the Quad is a grouping of India, Australia, Japan and the USA. And these countries also the member of the Malabar exercise. Then the connectivity. Both are focusing on the Northeast Road Network connectivity linked to India Act East policy. Japan and India are focusing on the Northeast connectivity, and which are also an influence of the India Act East policy. And so in the Southeast Asia, the Japan is also investing there, and India Act East policy is also implementing there. So this is the strategic influence of the both the country of the India and Japan related to the Asia as well as the world level. So this was the demand of the question. Instead of the demand, if you are writing about the India-Japan relation, that will not fulfill the demand of the question. So here we first address about the India-Japan contemporary global strategic partnership. If we see the question here, in the first line, if we see India and Japan contemporary relationship, we picked up this subheadings. Then we picked up the partnership that will have the significance for Asia and the world. Then we picked up this heading. So we picked up two subheadings from the question itself. We divide these subheadings under the political, economic and the strategic partnership. We add some examples and also address the significance part. If you are understanding the question completely, your work, 30% work is over. So please try to understand the question, break the question in the various part and then try to write the answer. In the conclusion, we can write about the India and Japan partnership. In the India and Japan partnership, we will write about they are having a strong political relation, strong relation with reference to the strategic partnership, strong cultural relation and having a very same mind strategy related to development of the East Asian region as well as a peaceful Indo-Pacific region. So you can write this in the introduction or you can also write in the some other way. So this was the today's question related to the India and Japan relation and their strategic significance for the development of the world as well as the Asian region. I hope you like this answer. We will meet tomorrow at the 6 p.m. again with the new question, and the question is also related to the international relation. A request to you, please submit your answer so we can evaluate your answer and tell you about where you are lacking in your answers. If you are writing a question daily basis with understanding of the question, you will improve day by day. It's not like you are writing on a one day and it will एक miracle होगा और आपको answer writing आ जाएगा. This is not the thing. You need to be right on a daily basis and also you need to be evaluate your answer where you are lacking about. Answer लिख के छोड़ देना भी is not a good practice until and unless एक अच्छा evaluation उसके लिए नहीं है. Where you are lacking about. आपने क्या सोचा and what was the demand of the answer. That is required for the good answer writing. And the mains is all about the writing answers. So please understand the demand of the question and try to write. Even you can show us at the Edukemy, or you can come to the offline center also, or you can submit to the master course program on the Edukemy website so we can evaluate these answers. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day. We will meet tomorrow at 6 p.m.